Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rachelle Anne Miller YouTube channel. Today I'm featuring the Swan Fairy digital stamp on this baby card. This is going to be a baby card for a baby girl, and I just printed it on Transfer Perfect coloring paper, and I'm going to color it in with some Copic markers. The coloring is going to be really simple. The swan will be white, but I wanted to give it a bit of a shadow, so therefore I'm using this BG10. And then the pink colors will be the same all over on the feathers as well as on the dress from the little fairy to keep it really simple. So in case you're wondering about Copic combinations and you don't want to write anything down here, I completely understand. You can find all of the combinations down below in the description box as well as on my blog post if you need to revisit anything. But as I said, tons of colors will be repeated, so you don't have to have like a ton of Copic markers or markers in general. If you want to color an image like this, of course you can use multiple. You can also do some rainbow feathers. I think it's done by one of the design team members or one of the previous design team members. So definitely check out all of the inspiration on Instagram, Facebook, but also just on the website. Whenever you're going to purchase a digital stamp, there are tons of inspiring images there to get you going. So here, as the fairy is really tiny, normally I need like 2 layers, 3 layers sometimes to get the blend that I want. But in this case, whenever images are really tiny, often I just need 1 layer. It just depends a bit. It also depends on the markers that you're using and how easy they are to blend. But in this case, it went quite quickly. So for this one here, I really didn't know how I wanted to color it, but as I said, I went for a white swan, and then I just looked up how the eyes could have a color, so I went with this really soft brownish grayish color. So for the feathers, I'm using one of my favorite red combinations, which actually is pink. It's R89, 85, 83, and 81. Now the only thing that I'm doing here to just make it a bit more interesting is that sometimes I use the 3 darkest markers, sometimes the 3 lightest, and this way with one combination I am actually making sure that I have multiple ways of coloring these feathers, but it will all match because there are multiple markers that are repeated in the different combinations. Also, at this specific moment it was a bit too light, so I'm going to darken some of the feathers. I don't think that I started with the R89, but I decided here to just add that as well, and then I just varied in which feather I did, and I tried to not have all of the same colors next to each other to keep it that way interesting. So I'm just blending things out in case you're going outside the lines and you don't like it. I'm really bothered by that. Whenever that happens, I use a colorless marker to push that color back towards the image itself or to get rid of it. It's a really wonderful marker to have. Without a colorless blender, I don't think that I would even be coloring with Copic markers. So just in case you're starting with any alcohol markers, there are colorless blenders or the 0 markers of each specific kind of alcohol marker. Wow, just trying to find the words here. Definitely get that one to help you. Definitely also in the beginning, it's a bit figuring things out in the beginning often. So and as you can see here, I'm just fixing those mistakes. That's the colorless blender, which is the corrector. Okay, so for the water, I didn't want to use the same marker as I did on the swan. I wanted it to be different, so I took the B000 and I just went on the edge of each of these lines, these swirly water lines that Rachelle Anne Miller created. I just went on the edges to give it a bit of a watery feel, but I'm not going to go overboard. I just want it to be subtle. as the swan is as well. And then we have those lovely pink colors as the accent colors. So the coloring is almost done. Next, I'm going to create an A2 sized panel from this colored image. Therefore, I'm using the basic rectangles by Mama Elephant. And for the sentiment, I took the Oliver Alpha die by Hello Bluebird, and I die cut a girl. This way is definitely for a baby girl. I think it's great. And I die cut it from Ballet Slipper. It's a colored cardstock by Concord 9th, but once I laid it down, I really loved the layout, so I made sure to keep it, but I will have to do it again later on. But the pink just wasn't completely matching with my pink combination, so I ended up taking one of the markers from the combination and just going over each letter and the exclamation point to get a matching color here. So unfortunately, because I wanted to change the color to get it matching, I had to peel off the layout once more here and figure it out again. So I just did that until I was happy. It was a bit too high, but I just focused on getting the wonky feel back. And then I took once more the present seal to lift this sentiment up how I just placed it and to keep everything in this particular placement. The lovely thing about the present seal is that you can just add your liquid glue and put it on top. Now something that I like to do is to mark 2 corners of my panel. Sometimes I do all 4 of them, and that way I know where I want to get the sentiment. So beforehand I had it a bit too high, but with the present seal I could just lower it, be sure of the placement, get those corners indicated, and then add it. So I'm just using some liquid glue and I'm putting it on the back. Now the thing with liquid glue, we all know it, if you use too much it can ooze from underneath, so I don't like that. I try to just dab a bit with my fingers, but of course I added the liquid glue this way on the present seal, so I put it down on my panel, but I had to make sure to not keep it too long on it because my present seal was also otherwise going to stick. So I'm peeling it off more quickly than I would usually do. So just keep that in mind whenever using liquid glue. So here's my panel. That's done. I'm prepping my card base and I'm going to adhere my panel with some adhesive roller on top of the card base, and then we will finish off the card by adding some stickles, some stardust. It has been a while since I used it, and I'm so glad that I did. I added it on the wings of the fairy as well as on all of the feathers. On the feathers I didn't add it completely all over. I added it mostly on the darker areas of each feather to just have like the whimsical feel. So I'm just having some fun with it. It's the Stardust stickles. It's really one of my favorites. It was once recommended by one of my crafty friends, and since then I never used another one. I still have some others like Diamond, I think, but this one, the Stardust, is the best ever. So that's the card for today, a lovely baby girl's card. I hope that you enjoyed this video and of course that you got inspired. Don't forget to tag Ram Stamps whenever you are posting one of your inspirations, and we can all find it and see it. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!